Hi everyone, my name is Ms. Steinberg and I teach Advanced Placement Human Geography. AP means that at the end of the year you have the opportunity to take the AP exam. If you perform well on that, you can potentially earn yourself some college credit. Human geography is the study of how humans impact or alter Earth, and then how Earth impacts the decisions and actions of human beings. Topics that we study include culture, population and migration, agriculture, political patterns, and urban land use. This course is very vocabulary heavy. There are about 500 new vocab words that students need to know in order to perform well on the AP exam. Students need to be extremely organized, they need to manage their time wisely, and they need to be very responsible. This course does not require extensive reading or writing. There are no formal writing assignments, and most of the reading that we do comes out of the textbook or comes from current events articles. If you are a student who enjoys analyzing maps, taking a look at data, or you are someone who wants to know more about the world, more about cultures, people, and places, then this would definitely be an excellent course for you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I am happy to help, and good luck selecting your courses.
I'm Ms. Eichmann, and I have a few minutes to talk to you about the opportunity to take Advanced Placement European History, which is a course that I teach for sophomores. I love the course. I think it's a really exciting course. We cover a lot of time. We start in the Renaissance, which is the 1400s, and we work our way all the way up through the present day, looking at European history. So we get to study really cool things like the Renaissance and the artwork that comes out of that. We talk a lot about kings and queens and the rise of royal power. And we talk a lot about ideas, the scientific revolution and the Enlightenment. Really, European history is a lot about how ideas have changed and how those ideas have impacted us today. We talk about both world wars. We do spend some time looking at imperialism. We talk about the Cold War. So there's just a lot of really cool people and really cool stories and events. But what I think is the greatest thing about the course is that it really helps us to understand why we think the way we think today and why we do things the way that we do today and the connections between our world and the past. Students who generally do well in the course are first of all students who are interested and they're passionate about the study of history and they're interested in the culture and the history of Europe. So I would say that's the first thing. If you're someone who has an interest in that, then definitely give this course a second look. But beyond that, it is a challenging, rigorous course, and you do need to be aware that if you sign up for this course, you will be asked to do nightly homework. It's not impossible, and in fact, most students find that it's quite doable and quite manageable, and it builds some really great time management skills. But you do need to know that it does require nightly homework. You need to be pretty comfortable with reading. Your reading skills need to be well developed because there is a good deal of reading that you'll need to do, and sometimes we don't always get a chance to talk about everything that you've read about in class, and so you need to feel comfortable with what you've read on your own. Certainly, I'm always available to answer questions, but you do need to be a pretty good reader in order to be successful in this class. We do work a lot on writing. However, I do tell students that I spend a lot of time first semester instructing writing, and so if your writing is a little bit weaker when you start the course, that's not nearly as big of a problem as if you struggle with the reading. The writing is something that everybody sort of needs to work on, and we spend a lot of time improving on that over first semester. But I would say definitely the students who are most successful are ones who are interested. They have a strong work ethic. They're willing to work hard. They're willing to ask questions when they need it, and they're able to sort of time manage, and they're disciplined on their own so that work doesn't get away from them and it doesn't pile up. And again, just the reading ability is really important. It is a college level course. I do teach it at a very advanced level. It's also a capstone course, so I think that's something to keep in mind. It's one of our 3 capstone courses in the social studies department. So if you're looking at cum laude and you're thinking about achieving that as a goal as a senior here at Lakes, then certainly AP Euro is one of those capstone courses. If you have any more questions, if you think you're interested but you'd like a little more information, feel free to come and find me or talk to any of my current or former AP Euro students. They're great resources because they've been through the course. So I hope to see some of you next year.
AP Economics is a good course for those who are interested in business and understanding how the economy works, so that when you get out there in the real world, you'll have a greater understanding of how it works and how you can run a business, be part of a business in your future. I recommend that you have a good math foundation. I recommend that you have a tolerance for reading, and that, but in the end, I think what you get out of it is very valuable because it will allow you to relate better to the world around you and understand what's going on in the news with respect to politics and respect to business.
Contemporary World Issues is a one-semester course looking at what is going on in the news, what's going on in society today, not only domestically but internationally. We look at topics such as the presidential election, gun control, terrorism, international affairs, foreign policy, and again, anything that goes on throughout your time within that semester, what's going on in the news. Someone who is looking to take this class should pay attention to the news. I don't care what source and how you go about getting it, but pay attention to it, both locally and nationally, but also internationally. Someone who's willing to speak up in class. We do not do a lot of tests or quizzes, but we do have a lot of deliberations, and a deliberation is a form of debate in which we try to actually solve problems as opposed to having a winner and a loser. We try to work together, but you need to be able to speak up in class during those deliberations, be able to defend what you say, and be willing to do some research on that. And overall, it is a class that should challenge you. And someone who is interested in all the things we talked about.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Reynolds. I've been teaching psychology for the past few years. Students that take psychology have an interest in studying the mind and behavior of themselves and of others. It is an elective in social studies, and you definitely do need an elective credit in order to graduate. So it's a great class to choose if you're looking to get that credit. You can take it as a sophomore or junior or a senior. Just depends on when that credit spot falls into your schedule. Psychology is project-based, so we do a project for every unit. So most of the time, those projects involve you researching something that you're interested that is related to the unit. So, for example, right now my class is doing a personality profile assignment. So they are looking up and into the personalities of some sort of like famous celebrity or famous person or athlete, and they are applying personality theory to that person. So it's been pretty fun so far. If you have any questions about psychology, you can always email me or ask me directly. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Walsh. I teach sociology. Sociology is a semester-long elective in the social studies department. What is sociology? It is the study of how groups interact with other groups. So we talk about topics such as the family, crime, how you're socialized, and it's primarily a project-based class. So we do a project for every unit. We do a lot of in-class work. There's not a lot expected outside of the classroom. We also do a lot of collaborating together and talking. So it has to be a class where you're willing to work with others and discuss ideas about some of these tougher topics. It's a lot of fun, and it's only a semester long, so it's definitely worth a spot for your social studies elective credit. If you have any questions, you can feel free to email me or find me in person.